right, so we are back 17 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock, 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk. Joe Visconti is joining the conversation. Joe, first, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good, great. How you doing, Lee?
We're doing good. All right, so let's start with a couple things I want to get to. So I turn on, or somebody texts me and they say, hey, you're watching the debate. And I'm like, oh, is it started already? So I go to Fox's website and I look for Joe and I don't see Joe. What happened?
We didn't qualify for J.R. Romano. That's the chairman of the party. To raise so much money to be in this debate. Although some of the self-funders dropped their own $75,000 in, and they got into the debate. So the GOP really has to straighten their act out. You've got probably the number one name recognition candidate, me, most experienced, has debated Governor Malloy twice on live TV, and you want to take them out. And I was the only candidate that I think was not invited. So anyway, we did our own little thing on Facebook Live critiquing the candidates. We picked up close to 2,000 views on that Facebook Live. Fox 61 only received, go on Facebook and see it, 10,000 views. So here's a little old Joe with no money, and I've got a fifth of the amount of viewership on Facebook Live at the same time as the GOP and Fox 61. So that should tell us everybody something.
All right. The problem with that, and listen, I actually think social media, I was talking to you about this last night, I think social media is a game changer when it comes to these big political elections. I think you can actually win these elections and not have to have as much money as your opponent, because if you do it right and you do it creative and you're out there on social media and you're on Twitter and you're on all these other platforms, you can reach more people. But you need to get up somehow in front of everyone else and debate these other folks. You're not the only one who hasn't reached 75,000. I don't think it's necessarily fair that there's not a place for you guys all to get together and have a debate.
I'll be at the Transportation Forum in Southington Friday. The other candidates will be there. There's 200 people coming from the building trades, from construction, transportation. It's a great event. That is bona fide. That is a real event. I'll have my time as a candidate. And those are the things the general public may not see, but we'll take excerpts of that. We're looking for a really bona fide event. That CTGOP debate was just a joke. And I'm not saying because I was invited. It was just a joke. The candidates are not ready for prime time. It's minor league. It's farm teams. And they really need to get their act together. But I don't want to spend a lot of my time on them. I want to spend my time on how to help Connecticut, why I'm in the race, and how I can win without the millions of dollars in taxpayer money, because it really is state of Connecticut property that goes to the candidates. It's welfare. And what we're going to do is we're going to raise close to $200,000 between now and the primary. We ran our last campaign on $25,000. I don't need millions of dollars. What will happen when I pull out a win against probably 5 or 6 buttoned-up Republicans that are moderate? So all the voters will fight over their vote. I will be then looking, when I pull out the win, to have the president here for September, and also the Republican Party in Connecticut. The National Republican Party can raise funds. There's super PACs in Connecticut and all across the country that can join in on my campaign late August, and that's where millions get dropped in. And the only reason you need the millions, Lee, is to fight the Democrats on TV. That's really where all your CDC, state welfare for campaigns, is going, to the television world, not to the radio, to television. So that's our simple plan on how we win, because a lot of people are asking, well, if you beat them in the primary, what do you do? Well, we'll have money too, but at that point, it'll be pretty complicated, but a lot of the groups can come right around and support me. And like I said, 3, 4, 5 million in TV ads during that time, it would be all we need. And I can see that happening. So that's my simple plan. But I'd love to get to what's going on in Eastern Connecticut.
No, we certainly, let's talk about a couple things I want to get to, and I want to get to some of the things I was just talking about with Ann, but I want to wait till after the bottom of the hour break so we have more time to jump into that. But as far as the crumbling foundations,
Eastern Connecticut, the crumbling foundations, I mean, Debbie McCoy has probably got the most information than anybody in the planet on this. Tim Heim and Linda Tabalski. Linda and I actually shared first, second, and third grade teachers in Tallinn when I lived in Tallinn. These people are the warriors on crumbling foundations. They're being heard, but the details aren't being heard. We're going to do a lot more than we've already done on this issue, because all the things that the government, federal and state, are trying to do are just Band-Aids. The deep money needs to come, and I'll address that at another time, even deeper than we've been doing it. We have crumbling economy, crumbling roads, but your big thing also in your area is Route 11. Yo, when are we going to do Route 11? We're talking about it for 100 years. It's got to happen. And I really don't know what's going on in that area, why it's being stopped. I get a lot of questions on that. The other thing is the opioids and the drug crisis that are going on in the 2nd District. It's across the country, but there's a lot of areas. During our last gubernatorial race, we spoke about this issue.
Right.
Stop abusing your body and soul with drugs, and we've got to really start doing messaging that will connect the millennials, the young people, and even people of age that are addicted to this. It's something that is hurting. It's going to hurt the eastern part of the state, where dollars, where taxes, where the towns like Scotland are in trouble. The 2nd District really needs attention. This is not all about Fairfield County. And we don't have any candidates running for governor, including myself, that live in the 2nd District. So, and not just do platitudes for the 2nd District. They really are going to feel the brunt of the financial hardship as they are right now in Connecticut.
So if you had a choice to help these folks with the crumbling foundations, I know there was a bunch of money, federal money, I think, given to these folks, but would you go above and beyond that and look? Oh,
yeah, what they're giving them is just chump change. And what the state of Connecticut is doing was one of my ideas, which they would pay for the testing, and we put that in Hartford Current months ago.
Right.
The state finally came out with that idea. But what's happening is the insurance companies have been let off the hook without going down into the weeds too much. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to do the average house, and nickels and dimes and tax deductions from the federal government. It doesn't get the job done. And the people, and we're going to really try to push this issue because the people who have the data, and they have it all, they have the history of this whole thing, is not being heard because the insurance lobby, even with Senator Blumenthal, who was at the 2003 event that at the Capitol that addressed this in 2003, they all looked the other way. They let this continue until 2 years ago. So the insurance industry has to step up. It has to help because the money that's being offered by the federal government and the chump change from the state will not repair the homes. These people are left with homes that are crumbling. I mean, you have no idea.
Right.
And hopefully 60 Minutes picks it up because they're looking at this, and that could be a game changer.
Well, and the other thing, too, Joe, is I don't know how you feel about this, but no, and this is not, I'm not like I'm turning my back on the other people who live in the state of Connecticut, but, that's why the insurance companies are there, right? That's what they're supposed to do. I don't want to pay for somebody else's foundation. I mean, because what's next? Is somebody going to pay for my roof?
Well, you don't have to. That plan, but that plan, Lee, was the insurance industry propaganda. That we'll make you, Lee, and all these other people, or me in West Hartford. That's their answer. We'll make everybody pay. No, they knew fully well. We have all the data on the insurance company. There's actually class action suits on this.
Right.
They knew. They looked the other way. It's called bad faith. This is nothing but a press for the insurance industry against them, and nothing has been happening to them. They're bulletproof like they are with health care. It's the same game. Health care being blocked by drug manufacturers and insurance industry. We have the same problem happening at Crumbling Foundation. The lobby is so powerful, and Blumenthal has and continues to look the other way. He shows up at the event pretending he didn't know anything. He knew everything.
Right.
And so that thing is going to get heated up yet.
All right. Gubernatorial candidate Joe Visconti is with us. We do have to take a bottom of the hour break. We'll come back. We'll give him more time on the other side. We'll talk about all things, whether we get into the labor union deal, we'll get into money, with taxes, all that. If you've got something you want me to ask him, send me a message, lee@949newsnow.com, lee@949newsnow.com, or throw a message up on Facebook, and I'll pass it along to Joe as fast as I can, as he's here until the top of the hour, close to the top of the hour, before we run out of time today. Real quick, I want to tell you about the biggest sales event of the year going on right now over at Holmgren Subaru, HolmgrenSubaru.com. That's right, this week, and next week, and a little bit after that, your trade is actually worth more. Once the calendar flips to 2018, whatever car you're driving right now is worth less money. That's just the way it works, sorry to tell you. But once your 2006 becomes another year older, well, you're going to get less money. So head over to Holmgren Subaru today. Let them take advantage for you of this great opportunity for you to score big time. When you're talking about turning in your vehicle, you get more money for it, more bang for your buck. Don't wait. head over to Holmgren Subaru today. You can always call them with any questions, 866-992-7103. Trade. Great deals going on. 0% APR on a lot of vehicles over at Holmgren Subaru. Stop by Holmgren Subaru today and tell them that we sent you. All right, bottom of the hour news coming at you. We'll come back more with gubernatorial candidate Joe Visconti next. Stick around. It's 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk.
Good morning. I'm Teresa Berry.
I'm Sean Murphy, sunny and 30.
Yesterday, New London police announced that they've made an arrest in connection with 2 assaults. 34-year-old Monty White allegedly assaulted 2 women over the past 2 months. The first victim was at her Hawthorne Drive home back in October when White entered with a firearm and had unwanted relations with her. In November, another female victim was assaulted on Nautilus Drive. DNA evidence matched White's.
Earlier this week, the Montville Town Council approved cutting $1 million from the education budget for the 2017-18 school year. This is due to state cuts in funding. The Board of Education approved the cuts, but said they won't affect classroom education, student services, or staffing this year. It will, however, cause school administrators to hold off on purchasing items in advance of a new fiscal year.
Yesterday, an Uncasville man was sentenced for trafficking a minor and distributing heroin. 41-year-old Ramon Gomez pleaded guilty to charges after a 17-year-old girl that he brought to a Groton hotel to engage in prostitution died from a heroin overdose in May of last year. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Adele Buthiller, who bought heroin from Gomez and was engaging in prostitution, was arrested on similar charges and sentenced to 43 months in prison in October.
Yesterday, New London fire officials said a fire that destroyed a local Taco Bell was accidental. The fire that left the roof in danger of collapsing happened around 5 a.m. on November 11th. Officials say that a burglar alarm that went off alerted them to the fire and made them speculate the fire was intentionally set. But it was found that the alarm was triggered due to electrical issues that also caused the flames. The exact cause is still being investigated.
This is Long Island Bureau Chief Chris Hampton. On Monday, a groundbreaking ceremony for repairs to the Ponquag Bridge in Hampton Bays will be held. Back in May, it was announced that the historic Ponquag Trestle Bridge, hit hard by storms, was set to receive more than $4.7 million in federal funding for repairs. The project is expected to be completed by spring. Long Island Bureau Chief Chris Hampton, 94.9 News Now.
CBS News Special Report. For the first time in 25 years, a Democrat declares victory in an Alabama Senate race.
Folks, we have come so far. We have come so far, and the people of Alabama have spoken.
Doug Jones beat Republican Roy Moore by 1.5 percentage points. Too much for a recount, but Moore has still not conceded. CBS's Steve Futterman.
Doug Jones benefited from a large turnout in Democratic strongholds like Birmingham and here in Montgomery, and also apparently from many Republicans who refused to vote for Roy Moore and instead voted for a write-in candidate.
GOP analyst Dan Senor says Republicans in Washington are relieved over Moore's loss.
They recognize that they're heading into a tough year in 2018. The House in particular is really up for grabs. And the last thing they want is the Democrats to be able to tell every Republican on every ballot, you own Roy Moore.
Republicans now hold a single vote majority in the Senate. CBS News Special Report. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
I'm Jennifer Kushinka with Your Money Now. Congressional Republicans are speeding toward an agreement on a massive tax package that would ease the hit on residents of high-tax states and appease corporations that could have lost precious tax breaks. Negotiators are working to expand a deduction for state and local taxes to allow individuals to deduct income taxes as well as property taxes. They're also working to eliminate the alternative minimum tax for corporations. The U.S., the European Union, and Japan have agreed to increase pressure on countries like China that subsidize domestic companies and require foreign firms to transfer technology to local counterparts. Hurricane Irma, Matt Lauer, DACA, monkey selfies, Jeremy Lin's hair, eclipse sunglasses, and Tom Petty's death. Just a few of the things we were searching for on Google this year. Other top searches included the fidget spinner, Mayweather versus McGregor, Meghan Markle, and how to make slime. On Wall Street, futures are modestly higher. That's you.
Do you need a car, truck, van, SUV, or all-wheel drive? Hi, this is Todd Blonder from TJ Motors in New London, and right now's the time to buy at TJ Motors. Are you a little tight on cash? No problem. No money down? No problem. Our banks and credit unions have millions and millions of dollars to lend. We have a financial solution for everyone. Get a deal right now with our huge inventory, lowest prices, quick and easy financing. TJ Motors Motors will get you approved at 308 Broad Street, New London, or tjmotors.com.
You've heard about him on the radio. You may have even seen him in one of his seminars. Now it's time for you to take the step and contact David Reindell. Call 1-800-639-5113 or log on to davidreindell.com. Author of the books Don't Die Broke and Beat the Odds. It's time for you to take that step to financial security. Call Reindell Retirement Solutions today at 1-800-639-5113 or go online, davidreindell.com.
Hello, this is Rich Sasamo from Pasta Vida, the place to go for gourmet to go. Chef Lou and I started Pasta Vida more than 20 years ago as a wholesale pasta factory and have become Connecticut's leading destination for gourmet prepared meals. Delicious selections are ready for you to simply heat and serve or freeze to be used another day. We're located at 225 Elm Street in Old Saybrook and at the Mohegan Sun Riverview entrance and convenience store. Find our menu online at pastavita.com. There's no place like Pasta Vida.
All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth. My two front teeth. Feed my two front teeth.
All I want for the holiday is a boat, but it has to be from Diamond Marine in East Haven, the Northeast's largest indoor boat showroom. They're the exclusive Connecticut dealer of Steiger, Craft, and Key West. At Diamond, you can choose from new or pre-owned boats with an in-house service department that offers expert service, repair, and maintenance.
Then I could wish you Merry Christmas.
Visit Diamond Marine on Co Avenue in East Haven or online at diamondmarine.net.
Well, we may not have flying cars, but at least we can now talk to our computers.
Amazing. It's astonishing. Oh, man, wow. It's so, it's weird.
And yeah, it's weird.
I don't have an opinion on that.
But listening to your voice is nothing new to us. We've been living in the future for decades. Just ask anyone.
The term future has many different uses.
This is 94.9 News Now.
All right, we'll get back to our guests in 1 second here on 94.9 News Now and Stimulate Talk. A reminder about the Pit. Yes, the Pit Hitting. You hear me talking about this place all the time. Men's hitting leagues forming as we speak. Go to pithitting.com. If you fancy yourself a baseball player, softball player, this is your destination. You're going to want to go to the Pit. Memberships, a great gift idea. You know, you buy a nephew, a cousin, a membership. They can go over there anytime. It's a cool place to go. And again, it's got strength and conditioning, and it's got the small group training. You name it, it's all happening over at the Pit. PitHitting.com. Check it out today. It's got that unbelievable hit tracks. You train with the video. They gauge your exit velocity, launch angle, and all kinds of great stuff that you can learn to be a better softball or baseball player. PitHitting.com. Check it out today. Joe Visconti is our guest gubernatorial candidate. Joe, let me throw something at you because I had Len Fasano on quite a bit, and Themis Claridis comes on the station a lot. And I really thought from the beginning that there was sort of a sellout, if you will, mentality. And sellout's maybe the wrong word, but the people of Connecticut sort of got screwed over by this quote-unquote bipartisan budget. And I mean, what did you think about this budget? I thought the Republicans should have played hardball the whole way.
Well, you probably didn't watch my Facebook news feed. I was killing it against those two. Well, actually, I was cheerleaders with them. I was at the Capitol, and their bipartisan historic budget in the minority passed this summer, and I just couldn't believe it. I was there till 3 a.m. Right. So I was all happy. I did an event at the governor's mansion calling, when he vetoed it, to call for a veto override on a Saturday. On a Monday morning, Themis never called for the veto override, and we were like, well, what happened? We know we'll lose because the Democrats will all join together to stop her, but then we would have a list of all the Democrats who tried to prevent a historic budget, bipartisan, with 3 Democrats, and we'd have a list of those people to target for the following year. I think what happened, this is a problem, a systemic problem when you're elected here in the Capitol, is you catch some kind of disease where you all of a sudden think that, wait a second, I could lead, I can be the grown-up, and Themis and Len Fasano had forgotten that it was Looney and Arizminowicz and the rest of the Democrats who blocked them from negotiations for 7 years. They weren't allowed in the room. It was them. So what they did is they thought they would, the Democrats played good dem, bad dem, good cop, bad cop, and Themis and Fasano wanted to lead and think they were going to win, or maybe win the majorities by being bipartisan. So I think what happened is when they both decided not to run for governor, and I doubt Themis will, they decided we need to look bipartisan so that we can show the public if we take over the Capitol, that we can work with Democrats and bring solutions, even if Malloy is bad guy. The problem with that is Malloy's not running again. So they gave us a horrible budget, and it was a sellout. But it was a sellout because of their ideology of thinking that they'd be the grown-ups in the room. And the other thing is we lost 11 pounds in a municipal election because of that.
Right.
And why? Because the people were not angry and fearful as they were all summer about money getting cut to the towns. So Len Pisano and Themis Claridis actually worked with the Democrats to diffuse that argument, which is truthful. People stayed home, and Democrats took over 11 towns in Connecticut. It was unbelievable to watch in real time, play-by-play. I could not believe it. There was a better deal for us, and that wasn't it. They should have walked away from the table and said, listen, we passed the bipartisan budget, and this is historic. The governor vetoed it again. We're done. Good luck. It's all on you. And that's what they should have done.
I actually agree with you, Joe, on that one. Again, we're talking with... Well, it's just crazy. I mean, there's got to be a little bit of anger inside you. And I understand. I mean, you get your door shut in your face over and over and over and over again. After a while, you had enough. So
yeah, they're trying to do that. But, here's the thing. Here's my soundbite for Connecticut. We'll put bumper stickers. Connecticut, let's get back to work, okay? That's the soundbite. Why? We have to make Connecticut Republican again, which will make Connecticut work again, which will make Connecticut solvent and prosperous again. This is what we have to do. It's got to be Republican. Even though we talked about Len Pisano and Themis, they're not all bad. They don't know what to do. They've been surrounded and held hostage so long that they've lost their edge to really fight these Democrats. And we've got to make Connecticut Republican. We just have to. And we have to have Republicans that are real on the platform Republicans. They don't have to be right-wingers, but platform Republicans, fiscal conservative. These are the key words. And there's a lot of them in the legislature. They're just afraid because there's no strong leadership. And that's what a governor could do. Or a governor like myself could, or even a guy like Dave Walker. Listen, he's very more moderate, but he's probably the only other guy I see besides myself that would be strong, powerful enough to combat the union, combat anything that's liberal in spending, liberal in waste, with details. So I'm not really trying to plug Dave, but at the same time, I find in the race a lot. We had coffee about a week and a half ago together, Dave and I. We went over a lot of stuff, and you're going to probably get the benefit, the public, of getting a lot of data from both of us. And I want to get into that right now. I won't bore you. I'll try to make it a little fun. But there's an old saying, when you can't get out of a situation or a problem, you go deeper into it. And right now, the CBAC agreement is 10 years, but it is there can be no layoffs until 2024, not 2027. There also is no hiring freeze right now. No one in that debate stage for the gubernatorial candidate said that. Your candidates don't really know that. I have union workers inside, especially the DOT, flipping out, calling me. I have insiders on every department giving me data. And they're telling me they're hiring hand over fist. It's just unbelievable. At different rate structures and benefits and pensions, but still hiring. Why? And I brought this to the Hartford Current. They told me there was no hiring freeze, and they never did a story. So we're hiring. We're going right back to where we were, just putting more bodies, throwing more bodies at the state, rather than hiring freeze. And we need a hiring freeze at every department, number one. Number two, if you can't get out of it, you go deeper into it. What does that mean? That means we're going to go deeper into not giving them more money, the government union workers, but we're going to do something called weekly performance audits across the board. As a general contractor for over 40 years in the business, commercial, large projects, I know when I'm not on the job as the owner, things get out of hand. The workers get slack, they slow down, timetables change, you've got to show up with coffee, show up with the big stick. And as a gubernatorial candidate, I'll send my lieutenant governor to all these meetings for all these organizations. I want to be with the workers to inspire them, to find from the ones that I already know that are working hard or angry at the dead wood that's in the department. They can't get it out. They can't do anything about it. So I want to be with the people, and weekly audits will show, here's what we're going to do, Lee. By 2024, when we can start layoff, we're going to have a great idea of all the departments that could be run better, smarter, faster, cheaper. We'll reallocate those we find that we don't need in a certain department, or and they have to be retrained in some cases because we can't lay them off. But what we can do when we find speed and efficiency and the union work rules slow it down, I'll ask AFSCME, I'll ask SEIU, I'll ask the AFL-CIO if I can find a better way to do the job, faster, better, more efficient, and that may reduce overtime or kill overtime or shorten your work day. Will you fight me? Will you fight the Connecticut taxpayers? So we're going inside not to go to war with the unions, but to be inside to watch the workers. As a CEO, I'm going to be a state employee and their boss. And so what's going to happen when I go to the DOT and I walk in the Berlin Turnpike and I walk in with my auditors and we start looking at performance auditing? Why do the union work rules? Why is there 9 guys standing around the hole on the highway? How come we have so much repetition where we have people that we don't need here? Oh, because the union work rule or the policy said we have to do that, so everybody's standing at the hole. Wrong. We don't need that. All the things that the regular public sees and they know and they're frustrated, as well as state government workers that are frustrated. I've got friends that work in every department, and they're telling me, I just want to be proud to be there's 3 guys sleeping in the DOT truck, all the nonsense everybody hurls at the workers. They're not good and bad workers, but the people that want to produce more. So we'll have a suggestion box in the governor's office. It'll be a real suggestion box, not whistleblower. We're not looking for fraud. We're looking for waste and abuse. We know it's there. I already know where it is in each department. A guy like Dave Walker also knows that he's more from the bean counter area versus on-the-ground project managers that's inside as a governor that's inside each department looking. Why are we doing that? We're at the prison guards. Whoa, why are we doing that? We need more money over here, and we're wasting it over there. And so the reallocation of services and money in real time, not waiting for a year for the legislature or some state auditors to sweep some report under the rug. You need someone who's a general, who's a field general, and as a governor who can take his employees, his 50,000-person army, and really get them more efficient. You're going to have a big government, but it's going to be efficient. More services, less overtime, less padding of pensions. All that will happen by taking that which we can't get rid of yet. And also we'll be defining what kind of model of each agency we would have in 2024 when we can start laying off or outsourcing, downsizing, and letting those workers maybe go into the open market that should be recovering, or also work for the companies that will privatize. So we don't want to hurt people. We want to make sure we're getting efficiency for the taxpayer because we're in crisis.
We're talking to Joe Visconti. I only have time for one more question because we're going to run out of time. But, okay, so all what you say seems like it sounds and it makes a lot of sense. Certainly it sounds like it makes a lot of sense to me. But you still haven't really addressed the fact that there's going to be huge budget deficits. How are you going to fix that? I mean, you're going to have to get them to agree to either a rollback as far as health care. How are you going to get them to agree to some of that stuff?
They may never agree. But if the public can see what I show them as your governor on your weekly televised transparent performance audits, the public will be outraged with the waste and the abuse. The public will go to their legislatures and say, we need to change some of these rules. We need to change some of the way we do government. We're bound and shackled and handcuffed to this monstrous agreement, and we will be proving by everything I just reiterated to you or told you the last 4 minutes, we will be able to, at that point, drive them to the table because they will want to look for peace. They will want to look for something. Now, we may only get something from them that's not as much as we want. You could have, and you probably will, have tax increases. I'm here telling you, I'm the only candidate. You always say it on stage. I said it last time on stage. I told you about the deficits we're living through, and I'm telling you now there are going to be tax increases. We want them to be minimal. There'll be fees. There'll be different things that have to go. We just hope the regulations can be less. Welfare to work, we want that to happen so that the workers in each municipality, the people that are on welfare that are able-bodied can, if we have to still pay welfare, at least we can get beautification programs and get them out of homes, get them to work. If they're women with kids, they can work in daycare. We need to think differently so that the municipalities can actually get unburdened. So regulation has to be unshackled, but identifying in real time the problems, this is public. This is what Trump is doing. He's doing it more abrasive than I would do it. I would do it much more, as you're hearing me say it, much more Connecticut, okay? So we do it as Connecticut. And to get Connecticut back to work, people want to be inspired to go, you know what, I got to pay a little more tax. But I like what this governor's doing. I like that the workforce is really hustling. People are proud and happy to be here, and we're getting the job done faster, better, cheaper, and there is less overtime. And we've made a model of why we don't need 50,000 workers. So it's going to take a process for the public see that, and there will be some tax increases. It's impossible. It is impossible, Lee, from where we are, not to have some. It's just, we're trying to identify right now in the campaign, where can we minimize it? How can we continue to help the municipalities as they sink in education costs? And but there will be, and no Democrat or Republican will say that to you. We're in crisis, but if you're happy about it, you got to pay a little more interest on your credit card until you get your job, so that you can pay down the credit card. You got to be happy and motivated, and that's what I want to do as governor.
All right, there's an argument that can be made that you might be the biggest Trump supporter here in the state of Connecticut, and do you fear any, let's say, a Trump effect, they're calling it, as far as the 2018?
No, I'm not. Here's why. Donald Trump, they broke the mold, okay? Reminds me of my dad a little bit, out of the box, okay? Love him to death like I love my father. Personality, the way he does things, of course that could be offensive to many people. I saw it at the very beginning, but you know what? He has the Midas touch. And if he can stick economics in just the Midas touch, and even if he doesn't, America's moving forward. We need some of that Midas touch. He brought it. He brought it to the Eastern District, to electric vote. He brought it to the military spending. Connecticut should be happy and proud that he's done that. But right now, he is the president. Right now, he is Donald Trump. I'm not running a Trump campaign. I'm not running an anti-Malloy campaign. We're going to put our ideas out, and I'll always be pro-Trump. I will ask him to come here when I win the primary. You can't ask now because you got to get there first. But I believe that the people by then, the economy will be roaring, probably 4.2 to 4.4% GDP. Unheard of, unbelievable. And you're going to see in the next year a lot of people going, wait a minute, the economy's booming. And if Connecticut, and we won't have a new governor yet, so Connecticut's going to be sinking next year even worse. They're just saying, why can't we do it? So a message has to resound from all the gubernatorial candidates that's unified. And what I just said to you on the show today will be picked up by every candidate. They're going to hear what just happened on the airwaves and go, God, Visconti's right. Get into it deeper. Get into it because we're shackled. And don't be afraid to say we're going to have some tax increases. But if you have to pay more tax somewhere, you're going to know your dollar's not wasted in abuse, waste, mismanagement, favoritism, crony capitalism, and all the things you've seen Governor Malloy and the Democrat Party do.
Joe Visconti, always a pleasure to spend some time with you. Is there a website folks can go to?
Yes, JoeViscontiCT.com. Go donate anything you can.
All right.
Have a tax sale. Send me some money. JoeViscontiCT.com.
Hey, one other thing. You're going to be at this speed dating event, right?
Oh, yes, at the Italian Club tomorrow night in Middletown. Come on down, 6 to 9. I'm giving away 100 CDs of one of my music songs at the door. And it's a real fun event. Gubernatorial Speed Dating, Chris Cotu, God bless you for holding this event. And I forget who else is involved with that at the present time. Italian Club, 6 to 9, Thursday night.
All right, Joe. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Love you.
All right, Joe Visconti. There he is. Made a lot of good points, man. Whether or not, again, he's got to have to make some money here. He's going to have to get some money together. I listen, I'm the first person to tell you that money shouldn't be the answer for a good candidate. But sadly, you got to reach certain plateaus. Otherwise, you're sort of on the outside looking in. So hopefully that'll happen. Because I think he makes it makes these events a lot more fun. There's no question about that.